Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Running Point, a Wednesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartel joining you today. We have a packed show. Let's go over the schedule today. Ty, any minute now, we should be joined by Michael Thorpe, the head coach of Salem Softball. He'll join us at noon. You look at the rest of the show for today. Gary Altizer will be joining us at 12:15 to have our last segment of Wrestling Wednesdays with Gary. Sad note, but happy note because we have a lot of state champions. Well, we have a lot of state placers to talk about. One state champion to talk about in wrestling. We move on from that. 12:30, Jake I of Wyndham Baseball will come on this show to talk about the Bombers baseball season. Then after him, David DeJoy, the head coach of Brookfield Softball, coming on at 12:45. Jeff Jackson rounds out our coaches for the day as Camel Baseball. He's the head coach of the Red Devils. He'll come on to preview their season at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to have this show for you today and a no show tomorrow. We're going to be out at the bunker, I believe, too, is where we're going to be tomorrow. But we're going to be back Friday for the show, too. And I believe for Friday, too, we're also going to have a show interview that is going to be posted on the website first. So, of course, keep your eyes open with Michael Gennari, and then also some other interviews, too, that should be pre-recorded, posted on the website, and then featured on Friday's show. So just stay tuned to the website for those interviews, and if not, stay tuned to Running Point because we'll have them played on here as well.
Yeah, once again, no show tomorrow because we're going to be watching very diligently about our brackets and trying to get them finished and trying to get them right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As we're going to try to get Salem softball right here, too, with a nice interview coming up.
See. It might be one where we have audio and no camera, but we'll do it. Hey, Michael Thorpe, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think I just got to push that camera button.
There you are, Coach.
Yeah,
how we doing today, Coach?
Good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing great, Coach. I mean, spring's in the air. It's warming up. This starts to feel like baseball weather now and softball weather more and more each day.
That's right. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting out today, actually, and maybe getting on the field for the first time.
Coach, what we like to do with all of our area coaches too is the meet the team segment. But Anthony, I'll let you take the reins on this one.
You just got it. We just want you to go through your roster, talk about your returning players that were impacts last season, and talk about some of the new names that you think Salem softball fans should keep an eye out for as well.
Well, it starts with Riley Troy, the senior in the circle. Last year was her first year being the primary varsity starter. She struck out about 100, and she's just a team leader in the middle and a very good athlete on the mound and at the plate. 22 stolen bases and 22 attempts last year shows you a little bit about her athleticism. Center fielder, senior Jenna McClish is lightning on the bases. I know you guys know her from basketball a lot too and from softball last year. She can set the tone. She's been taking up a lot of slapping in the offseason, and we're excited to see where that takes her. Max Zumbar will probably be our starter at first base, along with Madeline Workman, a senior. Second base right now, we're looking at Sophie Maniskowska, who's a freshman. Shortstop, returning junior, Chase Toy, a leader, and her and her sister, Channing Toy, who's a freshman this year, both are looking to be starters and set the tone. There are two girls that play year-round travel ball, so their workmanship, first one on the field, last one off kind of thing. They set the tone there. Got Kylie Skinner and Lauren Barton, who are very good athletes, should play a lot of outfield. Lauren will probably be our number 2 pitcher as a sophomore. And I'm excited about all that. And Bella Brandt returns. She was a freshman catcher last year, started all year, so she'll be returning there and splitting some time with Channing Toy behind the plate. And I'm just excited about everything and getting back to playing some softball.
Talk to me a little bit, Coach, on what it means to you to be able to represent the Salem community too, because it seems like Salem athletics from the top down, especially in the girls' realm, are ones that aren't taken lightly, and it seems like the girls take it very serious. You got good participation, it seems like. So just talk to me a little bit about what it means to be able to represent the Quaker community and be there year in and year out.
I like the blue collar atmosphere. You know, they want to get to work. They do the little things. They're not afraid to scrap for some of those little things, go that extra mile. It means a lot. It's family out there. And I know everybody says it and I say it every year, but we have something special. And I know that radiates through the whole school. And I can speak mostly for the girls because I'm on that end of it, but they represent their school with pride and they want to go all out for that name on the front of the jersey too.
Coach, we know that Salem always puts together a very tough schedule. Obviously, you play in a tough conference with West Branch and Marlington in there as well. Talk about your schedule this year, the conference, how it's lining up, and then also your out-of-conference schedule and some of the teams that you're excited to square up against in non-conference.
Well, West Branch, as usual, is where we set our bar, and that's our rival too. So we always say we look for that green team on the schedule. And Marlington will be back being pretty good. And the whole conference in general, I mean, 1 through 9 in their lineup usually play year-round, or at least for the most part. So that represents a challenge because everybody knows what they're doing. And we like that underdog mentality, and we like to relish that and get to work. But our conference is super tough. And then you look at the out-of-conference games. We got Akron, Springfield this year, which is the first time we ever played them. Girard's on that schedule, and then we're super excited to go down to Tennessee. We have no idea what we're getting into. We'll play teams from Maine. We'll play teams from Florida, Tennessee, and really all over the end of the spectrum from Division I to Division III down there. I know is on our schedule right now.
Talk to me a little bit about that experience of going down to Tennessee. How excited are you as a coach to be able to have that experience for these girls to kind of bond? Is this in the middle of the season, end of the season? When is this trip taking place? Spring break, I assume, maybe?
Yeah, it's over spring break. We'll play a doubleheader at least on Friday and then a doubleheader again on Saturday, right before Easter, and then we'll come home on Monday. But that trip, I mean, it's hard not to set all their sights on that because we got so many games before that. But each week, that kind of motivates us at the end of the week to talk about Tennessee a little bit, especially in the preseason when you're in that grind and you know, it's a long way and, you know, you don't want them to lull themselves to sleep a little with the constant day-to-day that's the same every day. And the girls are super excited from everything on what we're eating to the dinner show to going downtown down there. We'll be down there 4 days and we'll play 2 days. And nothing compares to it really in their season. And that's why I kind of prefer it more towards the middle, the end. So it's not a little bit too early in the season.
Coach, sorry. The softball, of course, is going to be good down there. That's why you go, and the competition is going to be great. Talk about the team bonding and the team chemistry that you hope to build with a trip like that and what it will mean to building the team and building their relationships throughout the season.
I knew exactly how much it meant the year we didn't 2 years we haven't had it now. We went for 2 years, and the last 2 years we were off. To see some of those seniors the first year during COVID not have that and still talking to them. I mean, I talk to them every couple months, and to see how much that meant. I mean, some of the times the girls, when they're living through that, they don't realize how much fun they had till later. So you look back and, you know, they were singing Country Roads in the van on the way back, and just the little memories they have like that. Nothing compares. I mean, we're out looking for bear, you know, down there, and them girls, just from the music they play to everything they do, nothing compares to it from a bonding standpoint. And year to year, that just carries over. This trip this year will carry over into the rest of the season and next year, and the bond just gets closer than it could without the trip by far.
I think Salem does a phenomenal job doing hiring head coaches, but I also think the head coaches at Salem do a great job of putting the right people in the program and around them as well to set it up for success. Yeah, I want to give you that chance to shout out some of your assistants in this program and just some other big names in the Lady Quaker softball program that are so influential that maybe don't get as much limelight or spotlight as they should.
Well, you're 100% right. I mean, everybody looks at the head coach in the interview. You know, again, it's all about the players, but the only way to surround yourself and do the right things is with the right people. Eric Markovich, I know what the girls think of him and what he means to our program. That's my assistant. Couldn't find a finer human being and a student of the game. And then Jody Hipley was the head coach here when I took over 8 years ago. And she was the head coach. She's our JV head coach now. And to be able to do that after being the head coach and the chemistry we have says a lot about the program and who we are. Kim Colian is alumni. She works well with the pitchers. Cal Gaynor is alumni and assistant. We rotate a lot of people back and forth from varsity to JV because they get used to all the kids. And we practice together a lot in that regard too. Madison Markovich, that'll be her first year. She's an alumni. She's a first-year coach. And then Clara Janife is another alumni pitcher that you may remember from the past. She's back with us. She went to college and played some ball. So I'm excited about all the assistants. And honestly, we're friends off the field. And maybe we weren't friends when we went in, but that's the atmosphere we have. And players know they can talk to anybody. Talking to one coach is like talking to me. So we all communicate. And it is as special as the program is, the coaching staff is. And I'm hoping it's here long term because that's what we're all about.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and taking the time to preview your program and give us a little bit of glimpse of what it's going to look like this season. We wish you the best of luck. We know we're going to be out there covering you guys all year, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Okay, sounds good. And we got that West Branch game circled on our calendar early, even though we're going game by game.
Shout out the date. Shout out when is it? When can Salem fans expect to come cheer you guys on against West Branch?
West Branch, I don't even have the date, but I know it's circled.
It's circled. Okay, good.
We'll worry about that later, but we do got a circle when it comes up. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Do you have the date of your season opener?
March 28th. Yeah, that'll be Monday. We're not starting on that Saturday. So
all right, March 28th.
At Crestview.
Get down to Crestview and watch Salem softball take on the Rebels. That'll be a good one.
Coach, thank you so much. We'll also have the West Branch game circled for you too. I'm sure by the time you get there on Wednesday too. We wish you the best of luck though, Coach. It's going to be exciting to cover you all season.
Hey, thanks a lot. You guys have a good one.
You as
too.
Well.
All right, bye.
Michael Thorpe, head coach of the Salem softball program, joining us live on Running Point.
And we build new relationships with coaches, and now we unfortunately have to tug on the heartstrings a little bit and let go one, as we said goodbye to Brian. Remember what we did with the golf, and now unfortunately it's the same with Gary. We're gonna make it a good one, right, Gary?
Yeah, that's right. It was an exciting weekend. I know Anthony and I, we were talking all weekend as we were watching. I was watching the stream come in. I think Anthony was keeping up on Twitter. We had a lot of kids in the YSN network we were rooting for, and one of them came through with the gold medal. So I thought it was a good weekend. What about you, Anthony?
No, this was because this was the development that I think you've brought me and Ty this year, because this weekend I could watch the state championships in the state tournament and like talk wrestling. Like there were still some things I wanted to know, still some things I wanted to ask, but I could actually be a fan and know what things were and talk to you about wrestling. So
it only took us weeks to get here, Gary, but you've taught us something.
Yeah, it's always more exciting when you know something about the kids wrestling, or the team, and you're rooting for somebody. I mean, it makes it obviously all that much more exciting. I'm looking now. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody, but I think we have 18 or 19 placers in the YSN network. We had 3 finalists and 1 state champion. I'm just going to go through them real quick. If you think somebody I missed, Anthony, let me know. Hunter Newell from Southridge was 7th at 106. At 132, Pablo Castro made it to the finals there, getting second place. Jamin Salisbury, fourth. That was Division II. And in Division III, Ray Samil got to the finals. He lost a 5-2 match, but that match was a lot closer than that score. It was 3-2. In the last 10 seconds, he went for a throw and gave up a takedown. But, man, that match could have went either way. And then at 138, Dominic Hoffarth from Louisville did win a state championship, and he won it pretty convincingly. I think the final was 6-0. At 157 in Division I, Tyler Lindler from Austintown Fitch was able to finish seventh. Had a really great year, finished 49-6. In Division II, Logan Hours, everybody's pick, or mine anyway, to win a state championship. Unfortunately, he lost in the semifinals to a kid from London. And watching that match, we saw at least to me, it looked like as I was watching it, the guy had a really nice game plan going on. Him and his coaches, they either did a lot of scouting or they wrestled Logan before, and he was able to attack some in specific spots on Logan, and he just couldn't battle back. He ended up losing there, but he did come back and get third place. Brendan Sievers from Louisville finished sixth, two-time state placer there. Ours was a three-time. Hunter Andell from Garrettsville Garfield was sixth. Logan Cormel was seventh at 165, 175. Peterson from Louisville, eighth. And Sell from Garrettsville Garfield, fifth. And Sell, another one, losing a close one, lost 5-4 in the semifinals, or he would have been a state finalist. Schaefer from Louisville, third at 190. Smith from Poland, seventh. Mara from West Branch, eighth at 215. And then Brazick from Louisville, fourth. And Gibson from Howland, fifth at heavyweight in Division II. And then Dallas McCracken finished eighth for United at the heavyweight spot, the first boy state placer in their school's history.
How about, well, a couple of things I want to bring up. One, let's start with Logan Hours, who was your pick for state championship, and it was someone that was one of the favorites going in. He loses in that semifinal game. But like you said, a great game plan from his opponent. When you're that high a caliber wrestler and you're that high a profile, I imagine it's not hard to find film on you. And I'm sure it's really easy to make, a very detailed game plan against you for all these other teams.
Yeah, especially with a kid like Ours that's going Division I. He's going to Wyoming to wrestle on a scholarship. When he was a youth wrestler, he was regarded as the best wrestler in the country at one point in time. And I'm sure the kid he wrestled, his name was Antoine Burns from London. London has a really great wrestling program, and the kid was tough. He just he had a game plan. He stuck to that. The final was 10-6. I think he had 5 takedowns. Logan had 5 escapes from those takedowns, and then one other escape when he chose down. So the kid stayed on his feet. He didn't let Logan get on top of him, and the kid just attacked basically single legs and takedowns where he thought he was able to get in and be able to finish. The kid was very quick, so he used his strength, and he didn't let Logan get on top to be able to work his top game where he might be one of the best kids in the country.
Obviously, that was very disappointing for Logan because he came in wanting to win the state championship. He got there last year. What can you say about the tenacity to lose that match and then come back and win the match the next day to finish third and take care of business and get as high as he could?
Yeah, that definitely shows a lot of heart because you'll see kids that lose sometimes in the semifinals. They don't get to the finals. Sometimes they'll, end up taking sixth place. Either they'll default or just their heads won't be in it, and they'll, if their goal can't be reached, then they're done. So it did show a lot of heart for him to come back. He won in the consolation semifinals. He won 7-1, and then he pinned his kid in the finals for third and fourth. So he kept wrestling. He shook off the disappointment and did his job to be able to, give the Beavers some points. As a team, Beaver Local finished in 12th place in Division II. Louisville finished in third. They were in second place until the final wrestler for Aurora wrestled and won a decision and gave 2 points for the win and then 2 bonus points for finishing first. So Aurora was able to skim by Louisville 95-93 in Division II. In Division III, South Range finished 17th.
It came down to their last wrestler, I think, Dylan Fishback. Basically, if he won his decision, they were going to win second place. It was so narrow, and the gap between third and fourth was so wide, it really came down to Louisville Aurora for second. and no one was beating Graham to get first. So
No.
that was one of the more interesting things to watch was the battle between Aurora and Louisville for second place.
Yeah, and you know what? Those teams finished 1, 2, and 3 in the team dual tournament as well. So you've seen the dual teams come through in the individuals, which that doesn't always happen. Like with South Range, they were able to win the dual tournament, but they lost. I tell you what, watching the South Range kid, man, you want to talk about some heartbreakers. They probably lost 4 or 5 1-point matches. Some of them were to place, some of them in the first round. They were just not able to pull through on some of those really close matches. And even Samil's match in the finals, I mean, he was right there. The kid went in on a single leg, his opponent, in the last 20, 30 seconds and just hung on to that leg as hard and strong as he could because he knew all he had to do was not give up a takedown, and he was a state champion. And this Samil kid did everything he could to try to get a takedown. And even, he tried to like a flip throw at the same time going out of bounds just to try to do something. That's what you have to do in that situation, and he wasn't able to come through. But he wrestled a great tournament.
Do you think it's more challenging? It was a more challenging path for South Range kids to get to a state title now that they already had the dual tournament and they kind of had that exposure to a lot of teams that they faced again in this kind of tournament for the individuals?
I mean, they definitely have, more eyes on them now. Absolutely. That's a good point. I mean, any team that, happen to not know them in Division III, maybe on the other side of the state, or teams that hadn't seen them before. Now, they've been in the state dual tournament for years, but when you're a state champion, people definitely pay more attention. So you're right. There probably were a lot of wrestlers who were keen, or circling those South Range guys because they knew they were high-level kids, and they had to – not that everybody at the state tournament is, but you're right. That does bring a lot more attention to you as a wrestler.
Gary, someone else I want to bring up, Gabe Gibson from Howland battled back from an injury to still get 5th place in this state placing. I mean, that is incredible. He's not going to be able to run track this year because of that injury that he suffered. But man, I mean, talk about the guts to go and win a match really to get 5th place on a bum knee.
Yes, I don't know if that injury is new or not. He did not wrestle at the EOWL tournament, so
right.
I saw him. I knew he was a tough kid, and I saw him on the bracket here. I'm looking at it now. So he lost his first match, and then he battled back, and he won 1, 2, 3 in a row, and then he lost one, but he had already made it to placement, and then in the 5th and 6th, he won again. So that does show a lot of heart, and especially if he's doing it injured, hopefully he's able to, heal up. And if he has any aspirations in college, he can do that. But I think he's a senior. As a senior, he just went all out, and that's what's great. You'll see that in the state tournament a lot, where kids they push aside injuries, they push aside maybe not having confidence or disappointment, and they just push through and be able to take 5th there. That was great. I think Howland, out of like 100 teams, they finished 30th.
This is my last chance. I got to put it all out there. That's what that was. I mean, it's incredible.
Right. Yeah. It was tell you what, it was a fun weekend. I was yelling at my computer screen. I have 3 different screens up on my desk. All 3 of them had matches on them, and it was really nice to be able to sit there and just pick and choose who I watched. And there were so many nice, close matches. And local kids and even kids that aren't in the YSN network, there was a lot of kids who had a lot of success. So it was a really fun tournament. And locally, I tell you what, we did great as a local here, tri-state area.
Talking about this and kind of expanding on it, everyone kind of looks at, when we look at sports too, we look at what players come from the next level or go to the next level from certain states. We say Ohio, Texas, typically big football schools. Mm-hmm. Where do you think Ohio ranks as far as being from wrestling talent wise to the rest of the United States? And where do you think we are on a grand scale as far as wrestling talent?
Well, it's a big argument in the wrestling community. So the number one state in the country is Pennsylvania, and there's no doubt about that. They produce the most All-Americans in college, the most national champs year after year. Penn State had this run for about a decade where they were absolutely ridiculous as far as a college team goes, and most of those kids were Pennsylvania kids. Ohio has, a lot of years in the last 25 years were number 2. Lately, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, kind of, in Ohio are now in that mix for the number 2, most talent. They just had a stat come out. Tomorrow starts, as does March Madness for basketball. It starts for wrestling too. And NCAA wrestling shared where the NCAA qualifiers were from statewide, and Pennsylvania was number 1, and I believe New Jersey was number 2 this year. And Ohio and Illinois and New York were all right there, real close. They were all real close. So those are the teams, are the states that fill up these teams that take kids to the national tournament. So, but there were times where Ohio even had more All-Americans and more national qualifiers than Pennsylvania, but those years were few and far between.
All right, so when we were talking this weekend, we were talking about, I believe it was Pablo Castro's match. He was down 5-3. I think he ended up losing 8-3. And you said that he got splattled. And I was like, I couldn't decide if that was a typo or if that was an actual term in wrestling.
So he got splattled,
okay.
Yeah, or a banana split hit on him, basically where your opponent's got one of your legs wrapped up with his leg, and then one with your arm, and he basically stretches you out and takes you over to your back. And when you're in that position,
you're done.
You're not going anywhere. You are staying right there, and it hurts. And when you get in that position, usually you get pinned. So for him to to fight through that and not get pinned and finish the match showed a lot of heart. It's heartbreaking to see a kid come in second more than once. I know there was a kid from Beaver Local, Cole McComas, who did it 3 times in a row. Then his senior year, he didn't get to wrestle because of COVID. I mean, those are heartbreakers. But hey, at the same time, what do you have to, in the grand scheme of things, talk about accomplishments. To be in the state finals twice in your life is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic Hoffarth was not Louisville's favorite to win the state championship. Obviously, he was high up there in the seating, but I mean, everyone was talking, okay, this is Pablo Castro. He's the projected state champion. But it was Dominic Hoffarth that gave us our state championship out of Louisville, the 138-pound division. And he dominated 6-0 in that match, too.
Yeah, and of all the Louisville kids, he's the one that was the most dominant that I saw this year. At the EOWL tournament, he wrestled at such a high level that this does not surprise me at all. He was aggressive, he was strong, and he was just unchallenged at that EOWL tournament in my eyes, and that's one of the hardest tournaments in the state. So him going through like that, it's not a shock. And he won, let's see here, his first match 7-3. Second match, he tech faulted his kid. He won 16-0. Semifinals match, he won 10-1. And then in the final 6-0, he didn't get scored on. I mean, you're talking, what is that? 16-32, 39 points he scored, and he gave up 4. So, I mean, that's a dominant performance right there. And he is a junior, so he will be back next year. And I think his freshman year, he didn't get to wrestle because of COVID. Sophomore year, he had migraines or something and missed the tournament. So I'm sure he was just crawling out of his skin to get on that mat at the state tournament.
And we talked about United. They had a great, McCracken had a great showing this weekend. That's great for that program that is kind of building on itself. So not just the big teams that got state championships and state qualifiers. There were other programs like United that kind of just got there and got to have a good showing there, which is also good for those programs as well. How about Shocker? One wrestler, and he goes to state, gets into the state finals. That's all they have is one.
Yeah, his name's Landon Duncan. He wrestles in our sectional. He wrestles in our district. He wrestles in a couple tournaments we go to. Nice kid from a nice family, and I think he was predicted to be a state finalist. He's had success. He's a junior, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I believe he was a state placer last year too. But he got into the finals against Dylan Campbell from Legacy Christian, and the Legacy Christian won the D3 title going away. It wasn't even close. I don't know how many state finalists and placers they had, but it was ridiculous. So, I mean, no shame in what he did, what Landon did either, but he won his semifinals match 4-1. And he won the quarterfinals match 2-0. Talk about a close one, one takedown or 2 escapes to get in. And you'd think that his success would bring more, kids on the team, but they don't. I don't think they've ever had a wrestling program until they started one for him.
Yeah,
so,
you were telling me they literally started the program so he could wrestle.
as far as I know, yes, I believe his dad is the head coach. So it's probably one of those things. Hey, they go to the board. We'll take care of everything. He just doesn't want to transfer. He wants to wrestle for his own school, and I think it's great that Southington Chalker would do that for him. You'll see that a lot of times in Division III. You'll see teams with just a couple of kids, and you'll have dads volunteering to coach. So it's just nice that the sport is growing, even in small ways like this, with schools that traditionally have not offered the sport to their kids.
I know Chalker isn't a YSN school yet, but still tip of the hat to them for that awesome moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He was another fun kid to watch over the weekend.
Finally, I mean, I think the best thing to do is just to congratulate everyone that came away with medals this weekend, Gary. I mean, just talk about the hundreds of or thousands of wrestlers that in the state of Ohio, and if you're one of the 8 that walk away with something, I mean, you're in the top. I got to figure 1 or even less than that percentage of wrestlers in the state. You're in an elite group, and it's still something to be very proud of, even if you're not number 1 all the way down to 8. I mean, placing is placing, and that's still a huge accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely. There's around 150 kids in each weight class entered at sectionals, and that doesn't count the other kids who are in those weight classes who were hurt, or maybe they were ineligible, or they couldn't beat out the starter on that team. So if you're a top 8 out of 200 plus kids, I mean, you're obviously a very good wrestler. You're obviously very talented, and there is absolutely nothing but good feelings to come from that. If you ask me, I understand how disappointment comes, especially in the state finals, but in the grand scheme of things, man, you've accomplished a lot in your short life, and you should absolutely be proud. And the guys that are coming back, I mean, most of the time that does nothing but fuel the fire for next season.
8 out of 200, you are the 0.04%.
Right. So that's pretty good if you ask me.
And that's not even counting all that are attempting to qualify throughout the season too that don't. So, I mean, you got to go through the grind of a regular season to even qualify, and to get to the top 8 of that, like, you're the elite of the elite.
Yeah, you've got to stay healthy. You've got to maintain your weight. You've got to keep your grades up. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, and that goes for any sport. But with this one being that it's such a long season, such a long grind over 4 months, I think it speaks to the character of the kids who do decide to go out for a wrestling team. They're growing into, in my opinion, better young men and women with more character, because they know what it is to work hard. They know what it is to have a heartbreak, and they know what it is to have a victory too. So
we had 19 placers in YSN family. That means 19 people were in the top 4% of the state. And 9 top 5?
Yeah, I think we counted 9, right? 3 in the finals, 1 champ. So that's pretty good, and I expect that to continue to go up as we add schools, hopefully.
Gary, what are your kind of final thoughts of this wrestling season in the YSN coverage map, and some of the things that you saw from not just your program and your kids, but the kids around the area?
Well, the first thing that when I think about that question is I'm just glad we're back to normal. And I think that was the theme this year, going around to the tournaments, talking to other coaches. Everybody was just glad that, we're finally wrestling in tournaments again. We're finally allowed to have fans to come into the stands. We're finally, like last season, it basically was all duels. Duels are great, but man, they don't have the same kind of feel, the excitement that tournaments do sometimes. So the first thing I would say is that, we were all glad to just be back. And I just saw a lot of great wrestling this year. I feel like this was a really good year, that we saw a lot of really tough kids in the local area concentrated. So I don't know locally if we've ever had this much success, especially at a state level, having a state champion team in the area, and having, kids win a state title, teams being in the top 3. My takeaway is 2021-22 was a really fantastic year on the mats.
Final question, I guess, for you, Gary. I mean, looking forward to us always expanding. That's the thing with YSN. We're always looking to grow brick by brick. What are some of the dream wrestling programs in this region that you would hope to see get under some YSN coverage maps here in the future?
Well, as I was looking through the brackets, I would say one is Mogador. I know they're not far from us, and they are good at everything. I'm sure DJ and Brian know this already, but they have a great wrestling program. They got a lot of good kids. They had a kid in the state finals. They had several state placers in qualifiers. That's a team in Division III. Ravenna Southeast had a really great showing as well. That one's not far. Those are the ones that pop off the top of my hand. Now, if you could get St. Paris Graham in Division II, you'd be talking about a really broad audience that would pay very close attention to those matches being streamed as well. In Division I guess I might as well just go big and say St. Edwards, who has flirted with being the number 1 team in the country off and on for the last 30 years. That's up near Cleveland up there. So if you're swinging for it, I'd say go for those 3 teams. A couple local and a couple national teams there. But even St. Paris Graham isn't that. I think probably from the Canfield Boardman area, it's probably only about a little over an hour, I would guess.
And Aurora wouldn't be that bad either, and that's right up there in
Aurora and St. Paris Graham in D2. Those would be to go along with Louisville. That would be really interesting to see. I'd be pretty pumped about that myself from a fan's point of view.
We're always working, and you never know.
Always swing for the fences on YSN.
My St. Patty's Day shirt also. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe this.
I like it.
All these teams on the YSN network, and we'll be having all kinds of eyes watching us.
Gary, we are always lucky to have you. We've been lucky to have you all season. Thank you so much for your expertise, your wisdom, your willingness to teach some newbies about the sport. We appreciate it so much. Appreciate your time and look forward to having you back next year for Wrestling Wednesdays with Gary Altizer.
Hey, I'll definitely be back. And I just want to say, I thought it was fantastic. The questions you guys asked are things that I've kicked around in my head for years. And finally, somebody asked me about all this stuff that I've been thinking about. So I got to give my view on this stuff. And, hey, keep coming with the questions. And it's great. I love seeing new fans like this and you guys getting excited. So I'll be back as soon as you guys want me back. And DJ said his list is created. He's on it.
Yep, he's on it. Hey, we might be talking about some new teams then in the wrestling program next year, Gary. So it might be a lot more exciting and a lot more things to talk about on Wrestling Wednesdays.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on this year.
Thank you, Coach. We'll look forward to it again next year.
A good one.
All right. That was Gary Altizer. Wrestling Wednesdays with Gary has concluded. The wrestling season has concluded, and boy, was it a successful one. Just to recap, 19 state placers in the YSN family. That is top 8. Top 8 means you place. And then we had 3 in the top 3 and 9 in the top 5. So a great wrestling season all around for everyone in the YSN family. Congratulations to all the athletes in the wrestling community for a great season. And once again, thank you so much to Gary Altizer for coming on with us all season and bringing his expertise.
Chris Ziegler giving Gary some love too. And I mean, they did a great job and we loved it. Only the best of the best. We went from Brian Tonar to golf to Gary Altizer and wrestling. And I mean, we love our expertise from these coaches and just these great community people.
We're not too far away from getting Brian Tolnar back on Running Point. You know, the spring season is approaching. I believe somewhere in the mid-April category. We'll release the date here soon, but somewhere in the mid-April category, Brian Tolnar will be back on Running Point, and we'll have him to break down all the stuff in spring and all the stuff that Mill Creek Park is doing. Perfectly on cue. You can see on my setup today, I have the wonderful coin given to us by Mill Creek Park as part of their the military awareness and the greatness that we have going on. Remember, we got to go down there for the whole day and do running down there.
Doing that in the sun too. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful out that day. And I mean, just to see all those people coming through, all those veterans coming through, playing some golf, it created a lot of joy. And speaking of joy, we got David DeJoy coming in.
David DeJoy, yeah, good job. You just brought him in, all the power away from me.
How we doing today, Coach?
Hey, how are you guys today?
Not bad at all. And I mean, get to venture into Brookfield. Now we get to venture into the Grace side of this MVAC. And what we like to do with all of our coaches, too, we always start off with a sort of meet the team segment, Coach. So I want to give you a chance to shout out your returners and some of the new faces that are going to be in Brookfield softball that are going to turn some heads this year.
Sure thing. We're in a unique position this year. Early on, we didn't think we were going to have any seniors at all. And we had a young lady come out for the first time to play high school in Anna Reichert. She's played basketball the last several years. And she did play some softball when she was younger, but she's going to be our lone senior this year. And the girls and the coaches are happy to have her. We do have a heavy junior roster. Quite a few of them have some varsity experience from last year, and we have some that need to get caught up a little bit. But last year we had Miranda Nicholson kind of lead us in the circle. She ended up with 9 wins and 114 strikeouts for us, and so we're going to lean on her heavily in the circle this year. And we have a few other girls that we're working with to get them ready. They don't have the varsity experience quite yet, but also some girls that really contributed last year. Sophia Hook played a lot of third base and some shortstop for us. Abigail DeJoy played some second base and a little bit of shortstop for us. Janae Pugh played outfield, a lot of right field for us, and was at the top of our order most of the year last year and did a real nice job. We also have a couple of sophomores in Cadence Huffman and Ariana Jones who towards the end of the season got a little bit more playing time and did well with the time that they received. And then Katie Logan, who was our center fielder, she anchored our outfield last year, and Katie Gibson are both juniors, and Katie Gibson will do a little bit of catching for us. Did a little bit of catching for us last year, and will do a lot of catching for us this season. And then we have a few other girls that are juniors as well that didn't get a whole lot of varsity experience last year, but they have an opportunity to earn some this year, in Micaiah Graybill, Sammy McInerney, and we have a few others there that are working hard every day at practice.
When you look at your team from last year, I feel like personally as a softball fan, you guys went way under the radar. A lot of people were talking about other teams in the area, and rightfully so. There are a lot of good teams in the area, but man, you guys were 17-9. You went to the district championship game. You lost to Matthews. You went all the way to state. Talk about kind of building on that success and trying to kind of take that season for what it was, leave it in the past, and say this is a new team, but we have the same standard.
Well, that's a good point. And I've already told that to our team this year a couple of times. I said, this is a new season. This is a new team. And I said, it's really in your hands what kind of team we have, what level of effort you put in, your attitude each day, how you work with one another in the field, and that sort of thing. Last year was a really nice season for us. There's a lot of great competition in our league. And we're just trying to, be one of the better teams and improve on our success each year. But yeah, we know we didn't play our best in that district game. Matthews is a terrific team, and Coach Nicola was there for a lot of years and put together a terrific program. But I think, we lost a lot of seniors who I think it was 114 hits, 10 home runs, and something like 89 RBIs that we lost from last year's team. And so that's why some of these girls this year are going to have to step in and try to make up for some of that loss. And so it is a new team. We're going to have to play the game, sound defense, and be balanced in our approach in the offense, and just keep the errors to a minimum and hope that we can build on what we did last year. That's our goal.
Coach, you have the unique position, though, of not having only one senior, as you mentioned, too. Does that kind of change the coaching style now that you have a large group of this team, presumably for a 2-year window instead of maybe this 25% for a 1-year window, and then, so on and so forth? At least a majority, if not all of this team, 95% is coming back next year.
Right. Yeah, that is a unique position to be in, and we are excited about that. Before we knew Anna was coming out, we kind of joked around and told the juniors, you get 2 senior years. It's kind of a weird situation, but you get 2 senior years, put everything you can into this season, and let's see what we can do with it. And then, wherever we end up. And then next year we can come back and try to tackle it the same way.
Coach, obviously you play in a very tough MVAC grade tier. You got Garfield in this conference now, who has a very good softball program. Crestvew's going to have their whole pitching staff back, and their battery of Carson Moore and Caden Sutton, and LeBray is always good. Talk about, and obviously, champion.
Don't forget champion.
They're almost don't even need mentioned. Talk about what it's like playing in this MVAC. I mean, nothing has to prepare you more than playing those programs twice a year.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. All the teams that you just mentioned, and like you said, adding Garfield this year, it just makes it that more competitive. Our league schedule and the pitchers that we face get us ready for the tournament. We did put together a fairly challenging non-league schedule as well. And I just told the girls, I want to face quality pitching all year as much as we can to prepare us for the postseason. And, champion is champion. They, Coach Weaver does a terrific job over there. Her girls are always prepared, always ready to play. And Crestview and Garfield, all the teams that you mentioned, LeBray, Falls, we split with them last year. They have a nice program as well. And so you just never know week to week and game to game. We split with quite a few of those teams last year, and it's tough to go every single night and win every single night, but you just have to prepare yourself to try to do that.
Coach, highlight some of those non-conference games that you're really excited about this team getting a chance to face, and just some of the programs that you're excited to get your feet wet against.
Well, we're doing something since we're so close to the state line. We're going to cross over into Pennsylvania for an early game with Hickory. They're one of the better programs over in Mercer County, and so we're going to play them early on. I'm excited about that one. I'm a friend with the coach over there as well. We may cross over into Pennsylvania for another game here that we're still working on for our schedule, but we have them. Howland invited us over for their Saturday tournament. We're going to participate with them and Jefferson. And so those are just a few. We're going to play Matthews in the regular season if the weather allows us. And so we're going to, those are just some of the highlights that we're looking forward to playing. We also have Girard on the schedule, and their coaching staff do a terrific job over there, and they have a nice senior pitcher over there as well.
I'm sure if you could pick one non-conference game to have all year, it would be, let's just get Matthews in here. And that's going to be a team that we're probably going to see in the districts. Let's try to see them in the regular season too, and try to get some exposure to what we're going to have to get past to win a district.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And, weather always changes the schedule as well. In the spring here in Ohio, you just don't know. Some of these games get bumped back. And if you get back on your league games, then you don't get to play some of these non-league games. So we'll just wait and see what the spring has for us and the weather has for us. And I told our girls, I said, we're going to approach each game with the same approach and just come in ready to play, enjoy yourselves, compete hard. And that's the thing about our group. They're a great group of young ladies. They get along and they want to compete. They want to win, and they enjoy it. And so we just kind of set the table for them, and hopefully they'll take it from there.
In Ohio, April showers bring May showers, and that brings June. It just never ends. So hopefully our weather is light this year. We get a lot of games in. And Coach, talk about your assistants and the staff that you've put together this year. We know that head coaches can't do it alone. They get the interviews, but you obviously have a great support system. Talk about the people that make this program what it is.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a lot of people that oftentimes don't get the recognition or the credit that they deserve. Mike Rotuno has been part of the Brookfield softball program for an incredibly long time, and we're lucky to have him. The girls respect and love him, and we're just, he put so much time in, just like all of our coaches do, but he's going to be a varsity assistant this year. Ron Schultz came over and started helping us last year. We were really fortunate. His daughter returned to Brookfield for her senior year. They were always Brookfield people, but she came over and helped us last year and was a big part of our team last year. And he's going to stay on the staff. He has a daughter that's a freshman this year as well. And he's going to help us. And Ron has a vast knowledge of softball. He's coached a lot of travel and is a high school coach himself in previous years. Patty Hammond is going to be our junior varsity coach. We're fortunate to have 22 or 23 girls out that even for a Division IV, a smaller school, We have a lot of good things happening in our youth leagues and all the way up through. And so Coach Patty's going to help with the varsity and our pitchers when she can, and then lead the JV team. And then Kenny Forsyth was, the head softball coach prior to me. He's now the girls basketball coach at Brookfield, and he helps. And when he can, he does a lot of the stats for us and a lot of the things. And so he has a lot of knowledge as well that can, fall back on and bounce things off of him as well.
Just can't get rid of Mr. Forsyth. He's going to be around for a long time.
he's Mr. Brookfield. Yeah.
We talked with Coach Forsyth too, and I mean, a lot of these girls multi-sport athletes, so you see a lot from basketball to softball. And the interesting thing, and what I commented on them in basketball season, they seem like they have a very high IQ, in that when they play the game of basketball, everyone knows where they need to be, and they work in such a good cohesive unit. And Coach Forsyth told me about how all their IQs in actual real life are high. They're good, upstanding students as well. What can you say about them from the softball perspective, and how they play the game of softball, and just your perspective of them as students and as people as well, just as a coach?
I'll tell you, every single one of them are terrific students, intelligent in the classroom and on the softball field. I would agree 100% with Coach Kenny on that. And, this is a group I would add, they're intrinsically motivated. They desire to do well at everything they do. It doesn't matter if it's soccer or volleyball, if it's basketball, if it's softball. They just want to come in every single day and put the effort in, and they work hard and they work well with one another. And so we're really lucky to have this group. They're a unique group of young ladies, and they're a pleasure to coach, honestly, every single day. I mean, you have your ups and downs throughout a season and sometimes with different teams, but they're a terrific group to coach, and we're really lucky that they're Brookfield students and athletes.
Coach, before we let you go, I want you to give a call to action to the Brookfield community to get out and support you guys this season. When is your first game, and when can Brookfield fans finally get out and kind of rock that dark blue and support the Warriors on the softball diamond?
Well, right now, March 28th against Hickory at home is our first home game. We are looking for an opponent on March 26th. Still, we had someone scheduled, and we kind of lost that opportunity there. But right now it's Hickory on the 28th, unless we can find someone for the 26th. But it's going to be exciting softball. And I encourage our family members, our community, our students to come out and check out what the girls are doing inside the fence. And I don't think you'll be disappointed this year.
To be determined, but for right now, March 28th, catch the Warriors on that softball diamond.
Feels like the whole softball season, every week is to be determined. Maybe we'll, with the weather.
Hey, we tell our girls, bring inside clothes and bring your uniforms, because we might be practicing one day when it rains, and we might be going to the field if it doesn't. So you never know what you're going to get from day to day.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We are so excited for this Brookfield team this year. We know that it's going to be very fun to watch. We wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. Take care.
David DeJoy, the head coach of Brookfield softball, joining us live on Running Point. We still have Jeff Jackson, the head coach of Camel baseball, coming on at 1:00. Before we get to that, let's take our first break of the day, pay some bills. We'll be right back with hopefully Coach Jackson coming up soon on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, alongside Mr. Ty Bartell. And as you can see, we are on a little bit of a waiting pattern. It's almost 1 o'clock, so we are waiting for Jeff Jackson, the Camel baseball coach, to come on at 1. Ty, when you think about it and you think about this MVAC that we've been talking about with softball, and you talk about it for the baseball season, I feel like for baseball, the more quote-unquote known programs are the ones that are in the Scarlet tier. You know, everyone talks about what Springfield's going to bring this year to the table. And obviously they've been running away with a lot of things in the last couple of years. So MVAC great tier, though, you'll look at it and it's like, you know, Garfield's bringing to the table, so they're going to be a new wild card. Obviously, Crestview has a pretty solid baseball program. And now we're going to be talking to Camel baseball here in a little bit. But I think the MVAC great tier kind of a wild card in baseball.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's a lot of great pitching in this area. So, I mean, that's what you're going to see in a lot of these conferences. And I think in this one, it's going to be no different. It's going to be It's going to go as far as the arms are going to take it too. And there's a lot of pitchers, I think, on these staffs that we don't know yet. And we'll see a lot of these teams use 3, sometimes 4 in a rotation. But typically you'll see about 3 starters used in a rotation. So there's a number 2 or a number 3 guy that might have number 1 talent, that might have ace pitcher talent that we don't know yet.
And we promoted that Jake I was going to be on the show today. Obviously, we're having some issues getting him on. We'll try to either get him on later on in the show or try to get him on later on in a different date. But either way, we're still looking forward to Wyndham baseball as well. Just wanted to give you an update if you were waiting for Jake I. Obviously, having some issues getting him on. So we'll try to get him on later on the show. And if not, we'll get him on later on in a couple of days or so. But for now, it is Mr. Jackson, the head coach of the Camel Red Devils baseball team. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I just got back inside from working on the field.
Awesome. That's just the best way to enter an interview.
I mean, with the weather the way it's been right now, Coach, I mean, you got to start feeling it's baseball in the air right now. This is looking up.
It is. But we've been on the football field practicing on that since we have turf now in Camel. So that's helped out a great deal.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure, too, with the rain, we never know in the state of Ohio.
Exactly.
Coach, what we like to do with all of our area coaches, we always start off with a Meet the Team segment. So I want to give you the chance to shout out your returners coming back on the team this season, as well as some new faces that you think might turn some heads this year.
Yeah, we do have 6 seniors. We have Benny Ortiz. He's going to be our third baseman. He's going to help us a lot. He's got stronger with the bat, so that's going to help there. Izzy Stewart is a senior. He'll be in the outfield. He's just a big kid. He's started swinging the bat a lot better this year than he did last year, so he'll be fine there. I got Jake Jackson. That's my nephew. He's a basketball player, 3-year starter for me. He could play anywhere, pitch, and do anything. James Sugar, same difference. He could play anywhere. He'll be my catcher this year. Strong bat. And then Zach Luciano, he's a basketball player. I finally got these guys back from our good basketball run, but he's down at Scene playing a lot, so he's going to help this. He's going to help this offense and defense with his arm and shortstop. Craig Kearns, he'll help us in the outfield filling in. And he's just a good team player all around. My 2 younger ones, I got Dwan Reynolds. He's our second baseman. He is a good pitcher for us, and he can hit the ball anywhere and all over. He's also down at Scene and some travel teams. Anthony Candinas, every position he plays also, and he'll help us with the pitching. We have about 6 pitchers. And then everybody else can fill in after that. So that's one good thing for me.
Coach, when you start to break down this roster and you're obviously looking at what you got and you've had the boys there for at least a couple of days after that long basketball run, you start to kind of piece together the expectations and the goals for the team, you and the coaching staff. What have you kind of gathered about this team and what you can expect from them and some of the goals that you've placed as a team?
Well, after that basketball season, they seen what winning is. The community was behind them. Packed house every night. No matter where we played, we had a packed house. So that worked out really good there. The goals are just play 7 innings. Last year, if the games were 5 innings, we would have had 20 wins, just like anywhere else. But I just have them grind and just pay attention to the coaching staff. I have Kenny Turpak. He played for Camel many years ago, went to Ohio State and then minor leagues. And I got Mike Kaser. He played for me in Colt when he was younger, and I got him on my staff. So as long as they listen to them too and pay attention to me, we should be fine.
Talking about competing in this MVAC, the great side of the MVAC too, it seems like it's kind of a wild card, as Anthony and I were discussing, and it seems like it's going to go as far as pitching would take you. Talk to me about the pitching battles that are going to occur inside this gray side of the MVAC, and how far pitching is going to take you to a conference championship if you're trying to vie for that crown.
Yeah, I think we have a good chance this year. I'm very excited with this group. Every one of them can throw 5 innings, but definitely we don't want that. So our arms have to at least give us at least 3 and 4, and then we'll, sub them in as we go. I like to have 2-3 pitchers a game. Let them throw what they can, and let our bats do what we have to do to get ahead. So our pitchers don't have to throw that extra 30, 35 pitches a game. All these other teams have arms, and they're really good arms. So, but we just got to swing that bat. We just can't back down.
Obviously, everyone knows about your conference schedule and the teams you'll be playing in the MVAC, but talk about some of the non-conference teams that are popping up as well, and some of the matchups that you're really looking forward to this season.
Well, we're going to have we're going to play Lowville. We got Struthers on our list. We got Warren Harding on our list. We have United back on our list. We played them at home last year in the tournament, and they beat us at home. So I definitely needed them back on our list to show that we can do what we need to do.
Talking about this team this season too, I mean, you highlighted some of the pitchers and you highlighted the bats with the conference and the non-conference schedule that you guys have in place. Do you feel like with the non-conference games too, I mean, you guys scheduled up too, or is this all in hopes that the iron sharpens iron method, that you guys are trying to see some of the best pitchers in the area too, try to just get a look at the best arms before the tournament time?
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. Everybody in our league always won games, and pitching. They got us with their pitching prior years, but with us being stronger, faster, and with Kenny Turpek showing them what to look for and be aggressive at the plate, I think we should be fine with whoever they throw at us. Liberty last year had some great pitching. And they beat us, both times with their pitching. Champion did the same thing. The same kid beat us twice. He went 6 innings both times. And, we just can't have that. We just got to get to them early. And I think with our hitting now and our running, I think we should be all right.
Okay, so when you look at some of the strengths of this team and some of the things that you think you're going to lean on as a strength of the team and things that are going to be important to winning that conference championship, what do you think like the biggest strength of this team is going to be this season?
We have speed. All these basketball players are in shape. From Jake, Zach, Dewan, Anthony Candinas, football player, also basketball player. They could run. And they honestly, they got bigger because I had to go buy different pants. Some of them wore mediums last year. They need large. So that helps me. That helps me with that. It's kind of funny that happened that way, but they got bigger. Them legs don't fit into them medium pants no more.
Coach, and I think the biggest thing too with the sport of baseball is that year-to-year progression, I think, is some of the greatest things you can see. And you can see kid hit 200 one season and hit 400 the next too. It's that steep of drastic changes. So talk to me about how excited you are now from the junior to senior year perspective, and how much growth do you typically see from that year going into the senior year, and just how excited you are to see your seniors put it all together now for their one last run with the Red Devils.
Yeah. So getting to one thing is I'm the president of Little League also in the city of Campbell for the past 8 years. This senior class, I coached them when they were 9, 10, 11, 12, Pony and Colt. And I warned them that I was going to be their coach. So I've seen these guys grow up from 9 years old till now. It's a good difference. They fed into everything that we're giving them. They're stronger, faster, And, even their parents, I grew up with their parents. I know them. I don't have any problems with any one of them. They believe in us as coaches, and they know what we're here for. We're here for the city of Camel and these boys.
So, Coach, I know you already mentioned some of your assistants and some of the staff that work with you, but I want you to go a little bit more in depth about the people that work with you, what they bring to the program, and how important they are to this Red Devils team.
Well, we'll start with the athletic director, Stacy Seepin. She does everything she can to help us. So she had a long basketball season with the girls and the boys, and she went in running, and she helps us. The Board of Education gives these kids everything that they need. We have a brand new complex up on 616. It's an indoor facility, and they're going to build on to that with a baseball facility maybe. And so everything will be indoors and for the Camel kids and the surrounding communities. As you've seen our football field with that turf, that's probably one of the best looking ones in the area. And then we had a new basketball court put in. So they're there for us. Roosevelt Park, the city. I take care of the fields up there because of Little League and everything. And that Roosevelt Park, our high school field, is a lot of tradition there from Camel AC back into the day and all the way through all the tournaments. When I was little, used to ride the bike up there and watch that. And so these kids are playing on that field, and I think they're going to enjoy it.
Coach, thank you so much for just taking the time out of your day and giving us a little bit of a preview of this Camel Red Devils program. And I know it's going to be tough sledding through that MVAC. There's going to be a lot of great battles. It's going to be exciting. We'll be there to cover it, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again real soon.
I appreciate everything you guys have done for every program in the area, and looking forward to seeing you.
Coach, we appreciate it again.
Thank you.
Jeff Jackson, the head coach of the Camel Red Devils baseball team, joining us. And yeah, Liberty has good pitching. Champion has good pitching. Crestview has good pitching.
They all have.
They all have good pitching. They all have good pitching there in that MVAC. Seems like Campbell's gonna have some depth in the pitching. A lot of different arms they can throw at you.
Yeah, no doubt. And they have a lot of guys that, like he said, like Coach Jackson's had experienced success in the basketball season, and that's certainly going to help going forward to this season and just having expectations and standards now that you could start setting on some of the younger kids in the Red Devils program, and that starts helping build the program and starting setting standards of success season to season.
Yeah, it's funny because in baseball, to have a successful regular season, you need a lot of pitching depth because you're playing 4 to 5 games a week, and obviously once you pitch a guy, you have to rest him for however many days based on however many pitches he threw. But then in the tournament, kind of you if you have 3 arms, you're kind of golden because you can throw 1, throw your 2, and then you get like enough days off where you can just throw your 1 again in the next round, and then throw your 2, and then throw your 1. We saw South Range do it in that tournament. They had a 1-2 punch. And they didn't have a lot of pitching depth that season. They won state, but because they had that 1-2 punch, they just ran through that state tournament, went all the way to win the state championship. That's all they really needed.
Good arms, but it sounds like Camel has 6, and they could run. Yeah, like they could go 1-2 punch in 3 different games with 3 different arms, 6 different arms.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
As long as all those pitchers kind of, and this is obviously up to the great coaching staff they have to find the good match where, okay, this pitcher, really mixes well with this one. So after he throws, we got to come in with this guy because he throws, different, speeds or it hits different spots.
Different arm angles.
You have to complement your pitchers a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And the coaching staff looks like they're going to be able to do it. It's going to be exciting to watch this MVAC to see who comes out on top.
Exciting indeed, Ty. That'll do it for our, awesome segment of spring previews for the day. We had so much to talk about this day, including the wrestling wrap-up with Gary Altizer. Now we have kind of the last 45 minutes, Ty, like we promised, to fill out some March Madness brackets and go through that. We're not going to have a show tomorrow because the YSN crew is going to be down at the bunker in the Southern Park Mall to hang out and watch the March Madness, the first day of it, at least from 12 to 6. And now we get a chance to kind of preview that and fill out our own brackets for a change. And I have mine printed out. I don't know about you.
No, but I got it on the computer, so we're all good.
And I'm going to use the app because these things are tiny.
Okay. If you're gonna use the app,
don't like being on my phone the whole time we're on air. But if I was using the printout, I'd be like,
tape it to your forehead.
Tape it to the brim of my hat and just use that. Oh man. Let's see. Tournament challenge. All right, so I guess we start in the west region, which I believe is if you're looking at the bracket printout, obviously the west is your top left bracket. 1 seed is Gonzaga. And then you have the 9-8 of Boise State in Memphis. And then we'll go down the list: UConn, New Mexico State, Arkansas, and Vermont, Alabama. And then the winner of Rutgers and Notre Dame, Texas Tech against Montana State, Michigan State against Davidson. And then the 2 seed Duke will take on Cal State Fullerton, which is really a school not usually known for their basketball. I mean, I don't really remember them being in too many brackets. You know them for their baseball and their baseball program that I believe has won a College World Series, if I'm not mistaken, in Cal State Fullerton.
I believe so. All right, I got everything up. We're good.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put Gonzaga winning the.
Well, yeah.
Boise State, Memphis. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Give me Boise.
I'll go Memphis in this one.
Let's see. This is the.
I got UConn in the next.
Okay. I'll take UConn, Arkansas, and then in the next one. In the next 2.
Okay.
Give me Alabama. Give me Texas Tech. Give me Michigan State, and give me Duke.
I'll take Duke. Ooh, I was thinking Davidson over Michigan State, though.
That's an interesting matchup because Davidson runs a lot of lengthy, trap defenses, and Michigan State has been prone to the turnover this year. But
I'm going Davidson.
Michigan State is usually a team in the tournament that they either lose in the first round or they get far. There's usually no middle ground. Using the Howland logo, but I don't think this is. So let's look at.
I gotta go Baylor and North Carolina in the next one.
We just want straight down the line. We're not going to fill out. Okay, I like that idea. Anyway,
we'll go
Baylor.
Come back up and we'll go back down, and we'll come back up and go back down. Yeah.
Right. I have Baylor. I have.
Or are you going Marquette over North Carolina? Are you going Marquette over North Carolina?
It's 9-8. It's not a big. It's not.
I know it's not 9-8, but I'm just saying program prestige.
Give me Marquette.
Oh, you're going Marquette.
Take that, Jamie Thompson. I know you're a Tar Heel fan. St. Mary's and Indiana. St. Mary's being the higher seed. I'll take. Indiana plays a really tough schedule.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Indiana, too, in this one.
That's a low power 5 seed right there. I'll take Indiana to win that game. Give me UCLA. Give me Virginia.
You're gonna. I really want to take Akron in this one.
No, I'm sorry.
To
Give me Virginia Tech. Give me Virginia Tech. Purdue.
I'm going Texas. I'm going St. Mary's. No, I'm going Indiana. I'll go UCLA. I'll go Purdue.
Give me Murray State and give me Kentucky.
I'll do Kentucky. I'll take San Francisco.
Give me Arizona.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona.
Give me Seton Hall.
Over TCU?
Yep.
I will take TCU.
All right. Give me UAB. The Blazers. I like their upset. I like them being an upset. Give me the Blazers. Give me Illinois.
I'll take Illinois.
Give me Michigan.
I'm taking Houston. I'm taking Michigan.
Tennessee.
Yep.
I know I'm gonna make everyone in Ohio
Oh my
upset.
God! It's Loyola Chicago.
I
too.
can't
It's
pick against
over.
sister. I can't pick against Sister Jean. Give me Loyola.
Loyola Chicago is probably most definitely going to end Ohio State's run because Ohio State doesn't know how to win tournament games
Give
typically.
me Villanova.
I'm taking Villanova, but I'm going to take Ohio State just so I can mess up my tournament bracket in that part again.
Give me Kansas. Give me Creighton.
I got to go San Diego State on that one. I'm going Iowa.
Give me Richmond over Iowa.
You're going Richmond. I'm going.
How about this? Richmond versus Providence in the second round. Let's go.
Richmond versus Providence. I went South Dakota State in the next one.
Give me Iowa State to upset LSU.
I'm going Wisconsin, and I will go.
I'm going to go with Miami and Auburn.
I'll go USC, I'll go Auburn, and I'm going to go Iowa State as well.
All right, so now we go back up to the top of the West bracket. Give me Gonzaga to get to the Sweet 16. Give me Arkansas to get to the Sweet 16.
I'm going Gonzaga. I'm going UConn.
Give me Texas Tech. Give me Duke.
I agree.
Give me Baylor. Give me UCLA, sorry. Give me Purdue and give me Kentucky.
I'll go UCLA. Do I want to go North Carolina over Baylor? I know Baylor won the whole damn thing last year, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. All right, I guess I'll buy into Baylor. I'm going to go Purdue and Kentucky.
Give me Arizona. Give me Illinois.
I'm going Arizona and I'm going Houston.
Give me Tennessee and give me Villanova.
I'm going Tennessee. Yeah, probably Villanova over Ohio State.
Give me Kansas and give me Providence in the Sweet 16. Let's go.
Kansas, South Dakota State.
Give me Wisconsin and Auburn.
Wisconsin for me. Auburn for me.
Give me Gonzaga. We'll go back up to the top to the Elite Eight bracket. Gonzaga and Texas Tech.
I'll take Gonzaga and Duke.
Baylor and Kentucky in the next one.
Baylor and Purdue.
Give me Arizona and Villanova.
I agree.
And give me
Kansas and Wisconsin for me in the next.
That's what I got too. All right, so now we're on to the Elite Eight.
Do I go Duke over Gonzaga? I might go Duke over Gonzaga.
I have Gonzaga going to the Final Four. I have Kentucky. I have Arizona, and give me Kansas.
I'll go Wisconsin, Arizona.
Oh, no.
Baylor, Duke.
Hold on. I got to redo this whole thing because my bracket just reloaded. No, get out of here. Alabama, Texas Tech, Michigan State, Duke, Baylor, Marquette, Indiana, UCLA.
What did you do, Anthony?
It's making me resubmit my whole bracket. This is why we don't use the app.
East Palestine to the Final Four, says EJ Yoakley-Folkley, the 90th.
UAB, Illinois, Michigan, Tennessee, Illinois, Chicago, Villanova, Kansas.
I'm going Duke. I'm going Arizona, and I'm going Duke for the whole damn thing. Because why not? I love chaos.
You're Duke the whole thing?
The
Coach
whole
K going out in the glory?
Duke going over Baylor, Arizona over Wisconsin in the Final Four. That's it. Because I'm going Cinderella story, and I like a good story, and I like Coach K going out on
Seed
top.
is not a Cinderella story. Shut up.
What?
They're a 2 seed. It's not a Cinderella story if they go to the championship.
It's a Disney story if Coach K goes out on top.
He just better hope he doesn't run into North Carolina because they've had this number this year. Purdue.
Well, in my bracket, they don't. So we don't got to worry about it. In my bracket, if everything goes perfectly according to plan, North Carolina will be taken care of by Baylor. So we'll be all good.
Providence, Wisconsin. Oh, I keep hitting if you hit the actual square, it gives you like the matchups, and then I come back and it's like, no, they're not there anymore. Oh, see, I have Duke losing after the Sweet 16. Oh, you can suck it.
Anthony's like, not in my reality.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. Kansas
just posted the bracket or bus challenge that's open.
Oh yeah. Follow that link in the comments, and we'll also put it out on all of our socials. Join the bracket challenge and see if you can beat the quote unquote experts, aka people that just mess around and try to win.
AKA Anthony.
I can't claim that this year because you've been kicking my butt. But I'm gonna win this.
Always so confident, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Hey, if you're not confident, you're not doing things right.
Anthony's looking for wins every time out.
All right, so I have Gonzaga winning the championship over Arizona. It asks you for a final score. I'm going to put 76-65. You agree to the terms. And submit. Woohoo! All right.
And there you go, Anthony. You got your expert picks in now.
Yep, that's it. That's how we do it.
Can you beat Anthony in the bracket challenge?
I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. What should I name my bracket?
I'm gonna go Ty.Bartel.
That's so boring.
Anthony's gonna sit here and look for cool nicknames to name his bracket now, just so it could be wrong in the first round.
Cripple Power.
There you go. Oh my god.
No, wait, I could come up with something better than that. Get out of my parking spot.
Get out of my parking spot. Oh man.
The handicap emoji parking only.
Name it Anthony's Revenge, says EJ Yoakley-Folkley, the 90th.
Anthony's Revenge. Hey, I'm a Sith Lord trying to get revenge on the universe.
What are you getting revenge on, Anthony?
The fact that you embarrassed me in the basketball pick'em.
That's the whole point. You orchestrated DJ to do this just so you have one more chance to beat me at something with basketball.
Everything's going the way I have foreseen it.
If I win the last basketball challenge, I win the day.
Seize the day. What's this say?
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
That's how I feel too sometimes too.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. What's up, O? Should I name it O? is that a name?
That
a name suggestion?
Might have actually been giving you a suggestion of what to name your bracket.
My bracket is
O.
O.
O. Co Coliseum.
Oh dang.
Just name it after the Oakland Athletics baseball stadium. That's your tournament.
I name it Anthony Hartwig the 90th with a lowercase h.
Anthony Hartwig the 90th. There you go, Ant. I'm waiting for it now. I can't wait till we get it. Yeah, I agree with this one.
Uh-oh.
No Georgia Tech makes my heart ache. Dead brackets are better than dead air. That's true. But let's actually did you get your bracket filled out, Ant?
Yeah, it's filled out.
we could actually, what we need to look at too, we still have to look at, we looked at the MVAC, we still need to look at the NEA, we still need to look at the AAC too, as far as conference matchups this year, as I know Fitch and Canfield are going to be opening up in both baseball and softball. That's going to be huge inside that AAC conference, as far as just which one of those 5 teams are going to be able to come out on top. Canfield, you got to figure, heavy favorites in the baseball realm right now with the pitching that they're bringing back, all kinds of D1 talent. But I mean, still, you got guys, Howland coming into the realm this year. It's going to be fun to watch. They have a great baseball program. Fitch, of course, is always in the fold, and so is Boardman this year. We've had Coach Gabriel on already to kind of talk and highlight them too. You could get a chance to find that on our website. But I mean, everyone in this AAC is going to be tough to beat. And then Harding, of course, you never know what they bring to the table. Not a YSN school, but still inside that conference, we see them a lot throughout the season, and they're going to bring some challenges too this season. It's going to be interesting to see if Canfield could come out on top of the AAC again.
What I love about baseball and softball, especially in high school, is it is the sport that is most open to absolute chaos. Like basketball, you can get pretty good upsets, like we always say, if it just takes one good shooting day, one good shooting day to kind of upset a team, or have one off shooting night to lose. But even more so in baseball, softball, I mean, you could be 20-1 and have the pitching of the lifetime that season, but in the tournament, just one day where you're not hitting your spots, or one day where the other team is starting to see your fastball, or whatever it may be, and you're gone. It's one and done. And baseball and softball are so fickle that really you can just have one bad day and just like that, boom, you're out and there's an upset. And man, that's what makes it so fun and yet so kind of heartbreaking at the end of the season. But also regular season, you see there's a lot of chaos in the regular season. A lot of teams that, you don't expect to beat this team per se, and they come out, they have a good hitting day, or all of a sudden their pitcher is hitting really good spots, or yada yada, and all of a sudden, we have chaos in softball, baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, when you play one game series too, and it's not like a series, it's just a one game, one and done. Wild card, it's like every game's a game 7 type scenario, so you throw your best at it too, just hoping you can get it to the next level. And I mean, when we talk about like that perfect example, you look no further than Canfield last season. And I mean, Canfield ran it up. They had the season of a lifetime. They had guys hitting over 500, guys like Vital Cheese that had an ERA under 1, a staff that had an ERA just above 1 too. Like, it was a phenomenal staff from top down too, and they ran into Lane Rhodes in the playoffs.
And it was a crazy game with a lot of controversy too. I mean, sometimes that gets you too. Controversial call doesn't go your way, all of a sudden can't change the landscape of a game, and all of a sudden you lose a 1-0 game because of a tag up play. And I remember in the office the next day we were arguing like back and forth, like what the play was, what the play even was, what they called it, how they called it. Was it the right? We couldn't even agree on what the actual call was before we argued whether or not it was the right call to make. It was insane. But yeah, I mean that's what makes baseball and softball so fun. The better team doesn't always win, and it's a one and done thing, just like every other sport in high school. There's no seven game series. It's just, here we are. Here's your best against my best, and if we happen to have a better day, that's it. You're done.
And I mean, pitching is the name of the game too. And I mean, sometimes you just run into one of those buzz saws, and it's game over too. You could have the most powerful lineup in the area, but if you run into a guy that has his stuff, the best stuff going on the best day, and he's just sawing off bats and he's missing bats, and you aren't able to hit him, I mean, that's all it takes is you just run into one great pitcher on one of his best days.
That is so true, and we've seen that happen to a lot of really. That's why I always
happens in softball too, because we see a lot more powerful lineups in softball realm.
I side eye a team going into the tournament with like really good offense, and like just been able to get us there pitching, because I'm like, eventually you're going to run into somebody that can shut down that offense, and can you pitch with them is going to be a key in that tournament run.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in that softball realm, when we see scores going up into the 25s and everything like that too, with some of these like really good teams against some of these teams, and even some of these scores will be up 19-8 or 19-11 or something like that too. We'll see some really high scores in the softball realm. So when you have that too, having good pitching makes all the difference too. When you could have a pitcher that holds or even shuts out a lineup, but even holds them down to 3 runs, 4 runs, and gives you a chance to win. Bree Kohler did a perfect example of that in that tournament game against Ursuline last season too.
In that tournament run, she threw a no-hitter as well. I mean, it was just one of those ones where Bree Kohler made a run, and unfortunately, we were talking about it last night at YSU with her parents, because she was playing at she pitched in the second game, and we were just saying, man, that state championship is the day after your state semifinal, and you're going back-to-back days in the circle. It's tough. It's something that baseball fans that are trying to figure out softball kind of scratch their head at, because they're so used to, a pitcher being gassed after 80 pitches. But there is no pitch limit in softball. You just you can ride with one arm if you want to. It's not smart. It's not exactly what you love to do. But if you have one ace, you're riding her until you lose, basically, in the tournament, and that can come back to bite you when it's back-to-back days. And unfortunately for South Range, state semifinal, and then the very next day was the state championship game. And all throughout the regular season, they didn't have to pitch Bree Kohler back-to-back days, because regular season it was just like, hey, we'll take Julie Stakowicz, we'll pitch her the second game. But here, this is the state championship. You have to be able to pitch back-to-back days. And on that second day, just didn't have her greatest stuff. And, state championship offense took over that game.
That's why it helps when you have 2 high caliber pitchers too.
Every softball team would love to have, the champion set up from 3 or 4 years ago, where they had Allison Smith, who's on the 23rd ranked Ohio State Buckeyes right now. And then you have Sophie Howell, who's pitching for YSU, on the same roster. I mean, you would love to have that, but you're usually not blessed with that kind of riches in softball. It's the equivalent of the Canfield having what they have right now. I mean, I would say, the 4 pitchers that Canfield has is equivalent to having the 2 pitchers that Champion had back in the day.
And I mean,
back in the day, it was like 3 years ago.
Also, just talking about the pitching too, of like when with some of these softball teams, not necessarily if you don't have another starter, if you could just have someone that can give you 2 innings every day to just, trim down your starter too, especially in tournament runs when you can have that kind of closer come out and lock things down for the last couple innings too, if you need them to. I mean, that makes all the difference too, and just trying to save arms in that softball realm, because you're right, Anthony. There is no pitch count, so they ride these arms too in softball, and these aces, they get a lot of playing time too. And if you're the ace, you're the ace.
Yeah, and it was Allison Smith being brought up. You'd think they'd pitch her a lot, but really, they kind of alternated days. It was Sophie Howe, you're pitching one day, Allison Smith, you're pitching the next, and it was back to back. Both of them had an ERA under 1, and they were both D1 pitchers. So they didn't really have to ride the coattails of Allison Smith. That was why they were blessed, and they went through the
champions.
That's why they went through the whole state tournament without letting a single run go in that last in 2019.
That's why they named it Champion High School.
Right. That's exactly why, right there.
Because that's why they had to call it Champion. They looked at the softball team and they were like, well, I mean,
we got no choice, really.
We were just calling it Warren High School because, you had Warren Harding, Warren JFK was Warren High School. Like, that's Champion now. That's
Champion.
Look at their softball. Champion.
They've been in 9 state championship games as a program. They've won 6 of them.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. 6 rings.
Including 3 in a row.
They're like Jordan out here.
17, 18, 19, 3 in a row.
They're doing dynasties. That's a dynasty.
Yeah. They are the only public school that has had their baseball and softball team win a state championship in the same year.
That's unbelievable too. I do remember champion baseball winning.
I think that was back in.
I actually remember that now too. I remember them both winning at the same time, and I remember all the headlines and articles about it.
I think that was back in 17. Softball's first, and they're 3 in a row. And I think baseball played the Rubber Ducks field for their state. No, they were playing in Columbus back then. They were playing in Columbus, but I remember the champion was playing their state game, and it was staggered. So the baseball game started before, and the baseball team came to the softball game with their state championship trophy, and the crowd went absolutely bonkers. And that's ultimate swag when you can go to another team's state championship with your own state championship trophy.
And then they win a state championship. And then they were like, that's Champion High School.
I got too excited, knocked my coin down. Scared the bejesus out of me.
Your big coin, is that your Brian Tolnar coin?
I had it kind of resting, but it's so heavy that
you were promoting the Brian Tolnar coin.
It's right there. Stay. Good. Okay.
Can't wait till we get Brian back on too. That'll be fun when we have that golf segment too. But we're gonna have something in store. I think we need to have one more guest kind of fill this gap between Gary and Brian. So
hopefully we can find a track guru out there that can give us some insight on area track.
I might have a couple of ideas of where we can go with that too. We'll have to see if we can get some guys on board. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing, something along the line of track and field guru out there.
That'll be fun. The sports
bridge Gary and Brian.
It's all about bringing up the sports that don't get enough limelight and bringing them to the stage and giving them a segment every week.
And we had 2 state champions in wrestling too. So I mean, the coverage was just. We had a
team state champion and then an individual state champion.
Yeah, so I mean, well deserved too coverage of wrestling this season, and I couldn't be more excited to be able to present it too. And I mean, it felt like that South Range win was enormous too when it happened, and I mean, just winning an individual state championship too for a school is something to be extremely proud of. I mean, your name's going to be hung in the wall now forever. I mean, and that's the thing with wrestling; it's an individual thing. So like, you are the state champion for that school, and that no one will ever take that away from you. And that's that.
We talked about it, but look at South Range. And since 2015, they've had 2 soccer teams get to the state championship game, 2 softball teams get to the state championship game. They've had a baseball team that wins the state championship, now a wrestling team that wins the state championship. Since then, they've also had a football team that got to the state semifinals. I think their athletics programs are doing pretty good in the last 5 years. I might be a little bit biased, but I think that's pretty good. Is that good?
Yeah, I think they've done a great job too. And I mean, you look in all their programs, they're successful too, and not many down years you see for the Raiders. And if it is a down year, they're not down for long. So
Yeah, and remember, their down years are at a higher standard. I mean, that football team could win 7 games, and it's a down year because we didn't win. We went 7-3.
yeah, because you didn't go 10-0. Like that's when you didn't go 9-1 or 10-0 or something like that.
I remember, like when I was in high school, we only made the playoffs like once in the 4 years I was in, and it was my senior year. But the other years we had like 6 wins, so it was like, oh, it's a down year. But really, it was like, was it?
That
it was on our standards because we weren't making the playoffs. But 6 wins. A lot of teams would love to have a down year and have 6 wins.
And Anthony was over there like, this is bull.
I was over there like, I'm just glad the band lets the football team play on their field.
The band, oh my God. They win 6 games. They have a winning record. This is the band's field.
Believe it or not, that was the running joke in South Range when I was in school because the everyone, like half the school plays band. So when their football team was having a quote unquote down year, for 3 straight years, the joke amongst the whole school, including the football team, was, I'm just glad the band lets us use their field.
I'm just glad the band. That's awesome. I love it. I think my first year with Fitch was the year that Fitch went undefeated with Antoine Harris, I believe, at quarterback. We were 10-0 in one of our years at D1, and we were beating teams like Massillon, Washington, and stuff like that and like that was insane. I think we ended up running into like St. Ed's in the tournament, and that was it. And thank God we're in D2 now. I mean, it still doesn't make it any easier for a run for a football state title for the Falcons, but at least you don't got to deal with Ignatius and Eds and all those other.
And then the one freaking year where we made the playoffs, we ran into Case Teague and Ursuline the first round.
And then now it's Kirtland. Now you keep running into Kirtland.
I know, but at least we're running the Kirtland like deep in the playoffs, not the first.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you love the deep runs that they're making.
We were the only team that year in the whole playoffs, though, that have a lead on Ursuline, so we can toot our horn on that. We scored.
That Ursuline team was good.
We scored first. 3-0 lead.
Like, take that, Ursuline.
3-0 lead. We lost 33-3, but we had a 3-0 lead.
This rivalry between South Range and Ursuline brewing in multiple sports, not just softball.
We ran a trick play, the first play from scrimmage, and got down to like the 20-yard line and kicked a field goal. That was pretty much our only offense of the whole night.
Anthony drinking his sorrows away with Mountain Dew. He's like, we couldn't get past.
I promise in this cup it's Mountain Dew.
He's like, we couldn't get past Ursuline. It's over.
And the same year, our girls basketball team lost to Ursuline in the district finals. So
like I said, it's a rivalry. It seems like that's been brewing for quite some time between the Irish and the Raiders, and it goes beyond one sport. It's multiple.
Yeah, I mean, the last like 4 years, that softball rivalry has been real. Like, they want to play each other. They want to get into the tournament against each other. Last year, it kind of caught a melting point because it wound up being in the regional final, and like that place was packed for that game because everyone knew how big it was. And it lived up to absolutely lived up to the hype.
Anthony was at that game too. I didn't get a chance to get that game.
With Billy Mack,
which is unbelievable that you were at that game too. And I mean, I saw the clips too. I mean, it was packed, and I mean, I love seeing that kind of support for softball.
Maris Barbado came like this far from making it an instant classic with a walk-off home run.
That would have been something too. But it was an instant classic. What a finish!
It was an instant classic, but like that would have like put it over the top. Like, this is the best softball game we've ever seen in high school because it was a pitcher's duel and it was Ursuline down to their last strike, and all
Imagine
of a
if
sudden
they
they're
tied
wondering.
the game and it was extras.
Oh, that too. That would have been like.
And every pitch, it's like a walk-off home run could happen at
Right.
any time now.
And like for 3 straight innings, the teams trade solo shots.
Oh my goodness. That would be Anthony's just laying out his perfect softball game right now. They're
We're like in the 10th inning, and it's 7-7 because in the 8th inning, the 9th inning, and the 10th inning, they've each hit solo home runs, and
they're just opening up with blasts, and then it goes down to 2 outs, and they answer with like a Hail Mary home run to the center. Oh man. One day, Anthony, I hope it happens for you. I hope you have that kind of game.
No, we had a lot of good ones last year. So I remember one of the most exciting ones actually was West Branch's regional semifinals. And it was exciting because like in the 6th or 7th inning, it was tied and it started to pour down rain. And they kept the game going. And like Jordan Anderson was out there pitching in the pouring down rain for West Branch. And then she actually comes up in the next inning and hits the walk-off home run, I think. Or at least the go-ahead home run. I can't remember if it was a walk-off. But it was intense. It was in the rain. We were undercover, thankfully, because it was at Firestone Stadium and there's that big overhang.
Yeah.
So we got to keep the broadcast going. But what an amazing atmosphere.
I'm just looking at the schedule that I had in place too, and just the amount of softball games I'll hopefully be able to catch this season too. It all depends, I guess, on the facilities though. But I mean, I'm always excited to go out to Austintown, get some exposure to the baseball and softball team. Both should be fun this year. I'm going to try to see what we can do and work out with Waterloo too. Try to make some trips out to the Vikings territory with some baseball, softball as well.
In my All-Star game, in the All-Star game last year, I had the Waterloo player that was their Waterloo representative, Mackenzie Kerr. And I remember we were in the dugout, and it was like, I don't know, we rotated pitchers. So Bree Callow came up to pitch for the other team, and obviously Waterloo has seen Bree Callow a lot in the last 4 years, or in the same conference. And Mackenzie was telling me in the dugout, she goes, I've never hit this girl, never. And I was telling her, well, you watching her pitch, and I said, she's gonna bring a rise ball. She usually loves the outside corner. Try to stay outside the ball, go with it, just trust yourself. And she goes up the very next at bat and she hits an opposite field double that scores like 2 runs for her first career hit against Bree Callow ever. And I was like, that was one of my like pride moments. It's funny when we hear all these coaches before that, you hear all these coaches that are like in their first year and they're saying, oh, I'm so proud of this person. It's like, you just met them. But man, I hadn't met that girl before that night, and I just had so much pride for her to go up and her nemesis really all through high school and get her first career hit off of that girl in an all-star game where the lights are shining at YSU softball stadium. What a moment. And she's going to be back because I believe she was a junior. So if you
sports that you love,
if you get to Waterloo and you're doing a game, I just gave you a story to tell.
Yep, there you go. I got to double check too and make sure we're able to. I think there was, I don't know, it might have been, I think it was actually football season this year. I think there was just a little bit issues with facilities wise for Waterloo football, and I think they're building something too for next season too, and it's going to be either ready next season or the season after, something like that. But yeah, as long as we're able to go, I'd love to go out and see some games too. And I've already talked with Quinn, so don't worry, Vikings. If we can make it happen, I'll be out there as well.
And then the thing about softball, you can set up anywhere. I remember like United were at the top of a hill behind home plate, so you're sitting there like this, like holding on for dear life, hoping you don't tumble down the hill. Who's some other one? There's some where like the power pole is like way over there, and you're running like 15-foot extension cords to get to the power pole. Outdoor sports, you never know what you're going into.
I don't remember where it was at but Western Reserve played Jackson Milton in the tournament, and I had to drive out to this field.
I think Jackson Milton plays in like a park.
No, Jackson Mountain and Western Reserve played in a neutral ground.
Yeah, it has lights. It's one of the only softball.
But it was like an hour and a half away from both of them too, and they're like 5 minutes away from each other. But anyway, this place, I remember I had to run power out from like this press box. I had to run a cable all the way out. I was in like a metal chair, like a metal fold out chair, like WWE style fold out chair. I was in that, computer on my lap and camera right here. I think I got sunburned down my arm and down both legs. Just the elements in the sun too.
My one arm is just tan. That's it.
Oh yeah, my arm was charred, but it was a great game too. But it was definitely like, if I was gonna rate probably like my most uncomfortable like experience as far as like doing a game, that was probably one of them. Because I mean, like, we adapt, we adjust to whatever. But I think it was just the fact that I didn't put sunscreen on that made that day much worse.
Man, crazy stuff. We look forward to all the craziness that softball and baseball bring. And we can't wait to cover it. We'll have more previews Friday and then in the next week. Reminder that there is no show tomorrow, 12 to 6. We're going to be kind of hanging out at the bunker in the Southern Park Mall, watching March Madness. I'm sure we might have like a live stream of us watching like we did last year, maybe. But no show tomorrow either way, regardless. So we are taking a 46-hour break. We will be back on Friday from 12 to 2. And the guests we have lined up for Friday so far, live on the show, we will have Christina Dugan, the Ursuline softball coach. She will come on at 12:30. And then Justin Guerin, the Wellsville baseball coach, will come on at 1 o'clock.
And then we'll also be playing a pre-recorded interview that you should also keep your eyes open up on the site for, from Michael Gennari of Niles Baseball, that will definitely be played, if not on Friday next week, but should look for it on Friday, but keep your eyes open on the site for it as well.
Also, our socials will promote it the day of all the interviews that we're supposed to have that day. So that'll do it for today's episode of Running Point Casual Sports Podcast, coming up next from 2 to 3, and then Power Hour from 3 to 4. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you on Friday from 12 to 2.
See ya.